SMT Nation, we back. Nation, I want to do this video here today because I did the same thing for Verizon on my most recent podcast, or one of my most recent podcasts a couple of weeks ago. And, I did it for Verizon. I want to do it for AT&T as well. Their earnings are slated for October 19th. Verizon's got theirs the 24th, and we would anticipate that T-Mobile would come shortly after Verizon. So it would be the week of the 24th. But probably either like the 25th or the 26th. Historically, they've always gone after everybody else, and I expect to be the same. Anyways, let's focus on AT&T, what we can expect from them, what we think they're going to discuss and highlight, and whether or not we're going to see it as an overall good quarter for the Big Blue Death Star company. All right, link for the press release from AT&T, I'll put it in the description. And of course, ways to support us also in the description below. Big shout out to the folks that have been supporting us and making magic happen here on the channel. All right, so here's my, predictions and things to look out for from AT&T. So for starters, you're going to get the Q3 results on October 19th. They'll do a web conference, I think, right before market opens at about 8:30, and those usually drag on for at least an hour. A lot of questions for the CEO, John Stankey, the CFO, Pascal. They'll be talking to possibly maybe the technology people. I don't know. But those are typically the big two. And, the questions will be all about what the investors want to know. All right, what are the free cash flows like? I think that's going to be important. AT&T had a rough Q1 with respect to cash flows. They improved in Q2, and we're expecting the same thing in this Q. That might send the stock, up a little bit. Pre-market once those results come out. And I'm not telling you how to spend your money and invest. I'm not a financial advisor or a stock advisor of any sort. I just know how the earnings can lead to some volatility, sometimes to the upside in situations like this with free cash flow and AT&T. So that'll be a factor. They'll talk about margins. I think what's going to also be important to AT&T is the Apple iPhone upgrade pace. Pre-orders, launch day response, those kind of things, because really those numbers won't impact Q3 much, but they probably will be indications of demand for Q4. All right, so we'll be looking at some of that stuff. We'll look at equipment device upgrade rates as well. They'll probably talk about margins, profits, continuing to raise the ARPU. Fiber is going to be a big piece that's discussed as well. I think especially with an update to the Gigapower joint venture with BlackRock. I think that's going to be a discussion piece as well. And obviously, we could start to predict some of the numbers. I think it's going to be a little bit better than Q2. All right, so quarter over quarter, I don't know about year over year, it should be better. Free cash flows will be better. With respect to the financial side, revenue should be up. I think industry best churn is a possibility. I think they'll be under 0.80 for churn, which is a measure of retention. I think the reason why I got it dipping below 0.80 is because AT&T is pretty competitive, especially when it comes to device upgrades. They thrive in that space. They also now have AT&T Internet Air, the fixed wireless access, to kind of keep DSL customers from leaving. And, when they shut down DSL, they have an option for customers. They just don't lose them. To say like T-Mobile Home Internet, Verizon Home Internet, or a cable ISP or another provider of any sort. So I think all that's going to help churn. So postpaid churn, I expect it to be well under 0.8. I think 0.76 is a possible outcome. I think 0.75 would be like an incredible number, but 0.76, 0.77 I think is very doable. I think they're going to be in competition with T-Mobile for industry best churn. I think T-Mobile is going to be right there as well. I think Verizon is going to be on the outside looking in, right? They're going to have a decent churn rate too. I think they're going to be at like, 0.80, 0.82, 0.83, maybe somewhere in that range, very similar to last quarter. But the other two are just doing things better with respect to churn, right? So, there's other bright spots for Verizon, but it's just tough when the other two have better churn rates, and there is a reason for that with respect to consumer. I think business for AT&T will be pretty flat. I think Verizon just does better there, and I think T-Mobile's got some growth that they can achieve there. So I think AT&T is on the outside looking in. If they're going to do better in business, they're going to have to be super aggressive with promotion and just being active in recruiting customers. And with AT&T laying off thousands of workers and probably business being one of those segments, I don't like their chances. I don't think they're going to grow much there. FirstNet's still a big piece of AT&T's success. We'll see growth there. With respect to prepaid, I think Cricket is the winner. I think AT&T continues to be the industry leader in prepaid churn because of Cricket. They just do the best when it comes to that stuff. Customers are happy. They stay with them long term. I expect that churn rate to be very low. I think sub 2.5 for churn is very good. I think they add lots of customers with respect to prepaid, right? Relatively speaking. Yeah, and I think we're going to get an update on AT&T's Internet Air. You know, how many customers are taking to it? What's the demographic? I think they'll describe the churn rate a little bit. Hopefully we get more information on that and how it's going to scale. We need a network update on the mid-band POPs for 5G plus, C-band and DoD. How is it scaling? What are the upgrades going to look like in the future? What's the correlation to the AT&T fixed wireless access piece? So I think we're going to get some of that. But to me, I think it's going to be a strong quarter for them. I'm expecting good results. The only thing that I could see potentially being a negative is the industry not thinking they're doing enough in building 5G. I think the fiber continues to be a strength for them. Again, a Gigapower BlackRock joint venture update would be crucial in describing their reach and how that benefits their business. So we're looking for information in those sectors, and I think that's what we're going to see. What do you guys think? You think they're going to show strong financials, or will they be weak? Do you think postpaid is going to be strong or weaker? Do you think prepaid continues to be a strength? What do you think the 5G, mid-band POPs are going to look like with C-band and DoD? I think they're going to be around 180, 185 million POPs by the end of the year. I think they get to probably 230 million POPs by the end of next year, maybe 240 if things work out and they continue to scale. Remember, there is some relaxing of CapEx, and AT&T will continue to create layoff situations for them to streamline their business and be more profitable. I think some of that will be discussed as well. Cost-cutting measures. What say you? Sound off in the comment section below. You are the voice of the people, the SMT Nation. Let your voice be heard.